We go to Arrowhead now for Lift Every Voice and Sing as it's played in the stadium.
At the dawn of the 20th century, America was a country full of promise and hope for many. Black Americans faced a different reality, a nation separate and unequal. Yet their hope persisted. Pained by inequality, but inspired by resilience, writer and civil rights activist James Weldon Johnson put pen to paper. His words would become a unifying call, a hope for a brighter tomorrow, a timeless exhortation to lift every voice and sing.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing a rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory.
There are forces that want to take us back to another place. We don't want to go back. We want to go forward.
So I'm going to be teaching math. So what we're going to do today will be for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So the first thing I want to do, I'm actually testing the video right now to see if in fact it will work well, because I'm going to post all of these videos on a YouTube channel that will show your assignments or the discussion of the concepts, and they'll be separated by 3 channels: the 6th grade channel, the 7th grade channel, and an 8th grade channel. And they will be separated by lessons, and I'll try to put the lessons and the dates. So if you want to go back to them and look at them repeatedly for things that maybe weren't that clear to you, or you just want to review it to make sure you have all of it, you'll be able to do that. So, there's a couple things that you will need that I think you've seen before. If not, Mr. Saul will be giving it to you. But here's one right here. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. You've all seen this for your particular grade. So there's one for 6th grade, one for 7th grade, one for 8th grade. So if you're in 7th grade now, you saw it last year as a 6th grader. So the 7th grade will be different than the 6th grade. So if you were in the 5th grade, I showed you the 5th grade, now you're in 6th grade, so you have a new sheet, but it's the same looking paper, so you know what I'm talking about. So here's what I suggest that all the students need. You need a 3-subject spiral binder notebook that will cover math, language, science, and social studies. So if you could find a 4-subject spiral notebook, that's even better, because you could separate science and social studies into their own sections. So it'd be good to have a section for math, a section for language, a section for science, a section for social studies. That way you can keep all your notes separate from one another. Because one of the things that many of you guys do as students is you don't keep good track of the work that you're doing, so you can't go back and review it. And most learning is not going to happen all at once at the same time, so you have to go back and review things. So what do we want to talk about right now? Because as I said, I'm testing the video, and so far it's been going for 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes. So we'll see if we can cover the things I want to cover in 10 minutes. Then you have a 10-minute introduction, and we'll see. I'll be able to check the tape to see if it's working. So the first thing that I've talked about before with all of you is, what do great schools do? So I'm going to make a line here to separate this, a little wavy line. And I'm trying to use markers that are very fresh so they'll be dark enough. So here's our question. What, and I want you to write this down, what do great schools do? And that is our question. And of course, Wings is a great school. So the school you go to, Wings is a great school. And you have to know that. And we know what we're talking about because the state of Ohio has given the school recognition as a great school, which they call quality school. So they've already determined, comparing to all the other 350 charter schools, that Wings Academy is one of those schools that are high quality, which I'm using the word great right now. And of the 350 schools, there's only 67 that received that award. And the school you go to was one of those. So, our question is, what do great schools do? I should have said, what do all great schools do? What do all great schools do? Because all great schools do the same kinds of things. So here's the first thing that all great schools do. There's 4 or 5 things. Here's one. The first thing a great school does is to determine, you write this down, determine, determine what students like you, students need to learn. That's the first thing. A great school determines what is it that students need to learn. So you might ask, well, who decides that? Well, here's the answer to that question. The Ohio Department of Education. I'm going to abbreviate department, D-E-P-T, period, of education, E-D-U-C-A-T-I-O-N. The Department of Education, the State Department of Education, determines what all students need to know in various grades. So the same is true for us. What the Ohio Department of Education has determined that you need to know in your grade is what's on these papers. So whether it's math, language, science, social studies, there's a sheet like this that tells the school what the Department of Education has said students need to learn. So we've done step one, so we'll check off step one because we've already done that. We know what you need to learn if you're in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade. Well, we don't have 9th grade, so 8th grade. We know what you need to learn. So we've done step one. What is step two? Every grade school at step two, what do? They test students at the beginning of the year. Beginning of the year to see what they know. So that assessment is what you'll be doing the first week of school. If you have Study Island, you have your tablets, you have internet, you have Wi-Fi, you're going to be asked to go through the diagnostic and go through the various subjects, subcategories, so that the school can determine what you know. Since that's before school starts, it's before any instructions. Before instruction. R-U-C-T-I-O-N. Since it's before instruction, we don't expect you would know all of these things. And that test, the assessment that you're given before you learn things or you've been instructed, is called a pre-test, P-R-E, test. So everybody's going to be taking pre-test. We don't expect you to know all of these things, and it doesn't matter what you know and what you don't know because it's only a pre-test. So once the school gives the pre-test, which is before instruction, I spell before without an E, so I add the E right here. Before instruction, the school then does step 3. The pre-test tells the school what students, who knows what, and who doesn't. So it helps us to identify, I'll put ID, students that know and students NTS that don't know. And it doesn't matter at all whether you know it or you don't know it. Right now, it doesn't matter because it's only diagnostic. We only want to answer this question. So diagnostic, D-I-A-G-N-O-S-T-I-C. It's only diagnostic. So even if you don't know it, it's not really a big deal. It just helps us to know who knows and who doesn't know. Once we figure that out, we go to step 4. The school, a great school, once they know the students that know and the students that don't know, The great school teaches the students that don't know. Now, most of the time we teach the students that know as well, because it might help them also to become more and more capable and understand it better, even though they have an idea that they haven't mastered these things. So the school teaches the students, I should have put students in here, I said it, but I didn't write it. Teaches the students, I'll put it up here, STUDENTS, teaches the students that don't know. Now, once we have provided the instruction, you probably can see what we would do next. Step 5. Once we've done the teaching for the students that we found on the pre-test that didn't know, we will then retest to see if they know. Now, since this testing is coming after the instruction, we say it's after instruction. TRUCTION. So after instruction, since the word after means post, we say this is a post test, because it comes after, meaning post, before is pre. So now we have, number 1, the Ohio Department of Education has told us what students need to know. Step 2, the school simply gives a pre-test to see if anybody knows these things, and if so, which ones do they know. Step 3, you identify who knows and who doesn't know. That's your diagnostic. Step 4, you teach the students that don't know. You include all the other students as well, because they can develop mastery if they have some idea. Step 5, you post-test or retest to see who knows. Then, as you could see now, it'd be obvious, once you retest or post-test, you find out who doesn't know. And then you go back to step 4 and teach those that don't know. Then you test again. You find out who doesn't know. And you go back to step 4 and retest or post-test until everybody knows everything that you want them to know. So that's the process that you're going to be following this school year, because that's what the school does in every subject. It just may not appear that way to you. So that's why we want you to do your best at all times, because the better you try, the more you try, the clearer it is to the teacher and the school what you really don't know. If you're just guessing, or you close your eyes and just make answers to questions, there's no way for the school or the teacher to know if you really don't know that or you just guessed. So putting forth your best effort is the best way for you to help the school identify what it is you actually need help with. And once that's done, the school can actually zero in better on the thing that you need assistance with. So this has gone for 16 minutes now. I'm going to stop it, and we'll be prepared for your first actual lesson when I come back. Thank you, and work hard.